Ready for story time? There was a magical land so far away, nobody could have imagined it. I couldn't have even imagined it until I was there. It was a nice, sunny summer day. Me and my dad were driving through the countryside. It was beautiful. The sky was clear, the sun was shining so bright. I honestly think it was the best weather we'd had in a while. So we were driving. We saw this big farmhouse. It was the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. There was horses, there was just cattle. So we pulled into the driveway. There was nobody out and about. So we went into the shed. It was open, and so we went in there. We heard voices. My dad was friends with this person. So we went in there, and we saw a dad teaching this little girl how to do karate. She did the move incorrectly, however, but he still cheered her on anyways. It was so cute. And so the dad had this older daughter come around and show us how to do the correctly. It was in slow-mo. She did her tornado kick, her body twisting and just almost slowing down. I watched in awe. It was amazing. I wish I could do those things too, but oh well. Maybe one day, I tell myself. And then I turn. There's clomping. These horses come running in. They're gorgeous. There's this beautiful gray one. I turn towards it and I look at it. It kind of sniffs me a little bit. And so I let it. And then I reach my hand out to touch it. I don't know what happened. Its stomach grew bigger. Its size grew bigger, but its neck was unproportionate. It was horrifying. I don't know what's happening. Why does it look like that? Why is its neck so tiny? I look out towards the sky. It's pitch black. There's some stars shining in the night sky, the country view making it pretty clear. I'm so confused. I'm just staring, really confused. I don't know how it just changed into night. But then I hear, "Dad, one of the horses laid an egg." I turned towards the sound because horses can't lay eggs. That's impossible. They're mammals. They don't lay eggs. So I turn towards the sound and there's this gigantic egg on the ground. I stared in awe. I wonder what's inside. I wonder when it's gonna hatch. I wonder if it'll even hatch when I'm alive. And then it does. It hatches and out crawls a giant centipede. This thing is horrifying. I look at it and it's just insane. It somehow crawls underneath like this floor mat they have out, but you can still see it crawl and it glows and it turns white. And it separates itself into two halves, but both the sides are still alive and moving. And then one crawls into my foot. It was terrifying. I grabbed out a little piece of it. There was a little piece coming through the other side. I started pulling it, and it just kept coming. It was terrifying. And so I kept pulling, and I looked at my dad and I said, "Dad, that didn't hurt that bad, but can you pull it out? This is really creepy." So he pulls it out for me. I get it out and, well, it's not alive anymore, safe to say. And so there's this other half of the centipede. It's crawling all over. My dad tries to get in the jar, but then it starts crawling towards the top. So I grabbed the lid, terrified of this thing escaping again. So I try and hit it back in there, and it doesn't go back in. It refuses to go back into the jar. And I'm too afraid it's gonna crawl into me again. So I just leave it. and then it crawls off. I'm terrified. It disappeared. And then my mom calls me and says, Amelia, you need to get up for school. And I wake up, my heart thumping in my chest. It is pounding against my chest. I'm terrified and a little confused. But then I gather my surroundings, and I shake it off and realize it was just a nightmare. It's all over now. So then I get dressed and ready for school. And that was my nightmare. Also, give me little tips on how to storytell, because I don't know if that was any good or not. Okay, thank you. Bye. Have a good night or day, wherever you are.